Yo, what's up? It's DNA for sure, aka Rock Kama Kama. And this video is about having too much earth, the element earth, in your natal chart. Um, or if you just have too much earth in your personality, in your life, or if your root chakra is too strong, anything with having too much earth in your life, or your spirit, or soul, or I think I said your life, but specifically the natal chart. If you don't know what the natal chart is, it has to do with astrology. It's basically a wheel, or the other one's more like a square. I'm not sure what that's called. But basically, it tells you where all the planets were when you were born, because not just your sun sign affects you. Like, I was born March 30th, I'm an Aries, but there's more to it. That's why everybody's different. Okay, so first of all, I'm an ascendant Capricorn. Hold on, I'm doing a video, man. And I have a lot of earth in my chart. I have 44.6% of my chart is earth. Can you close that door? It's gonna smell like cigarettes in there. And I think I have 18% water, 18% fire, 22% air, and 16% water, which is not, that's not 100%. I forgot. But what these elements will do, they will compensate for the elements that are missing. So me being almost 50% earth in my natal chart, the rest of that 19% comes out and distributes itself to bring balance to the rest of the 25%. Earth is all three of the elements together: air, water, and fire put together. So of course, if my chart is 50% earth, it's gonna, break off and try to complete the rest of the natal chart. Now, when you add fire with water, with air, with fire, all three of those elements with the rest, that creates an imbalance. Just like I was reading this on astro.com. Elvis Presley, he had no fire in his natal chart at all. I think he was a Capricorn, sun sign. But he is an archetype, or was a person who was known to be very fiery. And when you have the absence of certain elements, the rest of the elements are going to make up your if you have no water in your chart, for example, your air might try to help you compensate. Your air is going to be your water, your intellect, your travels, all of that. You might be extra emotional, or you could be very emotionless and be extra intellectual. Me, I have a lot of earth. I'm not grounded at all. Right now, I'm grounded because I'm smoking a cigarette. But my habits come from that water. Me, I drink a lot. My earth contributes to my water so much that it makes me very over emotional and ungrounded. I have anger problems. I smoke. That's air. This is air, earth, and fire put together to deal with the emotions, to deal with the overbearing amount of water that I experience. Even though I don't have water, is my least amount of elements that I have. That's why I'm so emotional. Now I have a lot of opposites in my chart. I don't want to tell you guys about it because there's some people that are deep into magic and sorcery and all that, and certain information given out can be dangerous. Saturn, mainly. I don't want to give too many clues. I don't know if you guys know how old I am, but that will give you a big clue. Or if March 30th is my real birthday. Who knows? But that's something that you should be careful with. If you have too much earth, your earth is gonna distribute itself. Your soul is gonna give your emotions, your passion, your intellect. It's gonna affect your willpower, your emotions, and your intellect and your logical thinking. See me, I have Mars in Gemini and I have Gemini in Aries. So my communication my communication and my willingness to learn is really high because those are in each other's houses. Mars and Mercury. So the fire and water that part stands out the most for me. But that's what it does. What can you do? The best thing I would say is to start physical. What I'm gonna do, because I never really thought about this until like last night, Christmas Eve. I mean, I just have to take more action. I have to increase the fire. I'm just gonna do the compliments since my natal chart is so femininely dominated. I am just gonna have to start with the physical to affect my emotional. I have to learn about what I need to do, the air, to affect the fire, to even everything out. The emotions, that's the smallest part. So when I balance everything out, my emotions are just gonna fall in place. But I have a lot of anxiety. I'm really anxious. I'm really the opposite of Earth. I'm really watery. And at first, when I looked it up, I'm gonna put the link where you can find this to find your exact percentage of what your charts yield, your planets. But I thought I was water, but it turns out my planets and my chart is so feminine that it just overcompensates emotionally for water. What I suggest that you do is don't invoke any more earth. The opposite of earth is air. I think that would be too overwhelming for me if I just started doing all these airy activities and reading, because that is a big part of my life. Because of those two placements, the Mars in Gemini and the Mercury in Aries. I suggest you start from your second biggest element, or the second closest. Don't go for the opposite. If you have too much earth, go for fire, then go for the air. Then your emotions will fall in place. If that's your case, if you're too grounded and you're just too cool, too laid back, I mean, I feel like it can't affect everybody. I have a lack of them. I have water in my chart, but it's just a lack of it. If I invoke water, I'm gonna go crazy, probably, because I did that and I had a manic episode. So go with the fire. That's it. I'm in Minnesota, snowing right now. It's Christmas. And that's my video on having too much earth in your chart. Peace.